Hello, this is Greg at Reserve My Court, and in this video today we're going to talk a little bit about the block rule. So this is part of a series where we're going through each rule type, and so this one is on the block rule. And so I want to show you where I am. I'm under club settings, and then I'm under amenity rules and fees, and then I'm going to click the add rule button. Then we're asked to select a rule type. The very first, or the second one, sorry, is block, which is the one we're going to be doing here. And this description pops up here where it says set blocks of time which reservations must match. And so this rule does confuse people, and we really probably should change the name. We're thinking about changing it to something maybe more like slot rule. But don't, people say, oh, I'm trying to block off the schedule, and they'll go use this block rule. Well, you really wouldn't use that for this. A block rule or a slot rule is really where you specify specific blocks of time or slots that reservations that are made by your users must match exactly. So you might set up a block from, say, 6 p.m. to 7:30. So if you do that, a user would not be able to reserve, say, from 5:30 to 6:30 because it doesn't line up specifically with that block. And I'm going to show you that. So let's just create a simple one first. We're going to call it evening blocks, we'll say. And let's go to next. And I set a time. So let's say the reason I'm doing this is that my club in the evening gets kind of busy, and I want to make sure we can get in, a certain number of reservations and people aren't reserving these weird times. So I'm going to say from 6 to 7:30, and then I'll go, let's say 7:30 p.m. And by the way, you can type in these blocks as well. Let me just do that so you can see that. So let's go 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. And we'll go one more, and we'll go from, let's say, 9 o'clock p.m. to, say, 10:30 p.m. Okay. And you can keep adding these. If you wanted to fill up a whole day's worth, you could do that. But I'm just going to do these evening blocks. I'm going to go next. This rule is I'm going to start this immediately, and it never ends. That'll be the selection that you'll use 99% of the time, unless you're creating a rule that's, say, seasonal, or it only comes into play at certain times, or you don't want it to start right away. You could select specific dates here, but we're going to keep those as starts immediately and never ends. And again, you could also, maybe you have different blocks of times on different days of the week, or maybe this is only a weekend thing or whatever, but you can select specific days that this rule is going to be applied to. I'll do them all for now. And you can also, of course, always apply them to specific courts, and you don't have to select all of them. I will. And you can always just select what users this applies to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and make sure, I'm just going to pick them all. Maybe you wouldn't do that. You might not apply it to your own super admin account, but I'm going to do that so you can, at a minimum, you can see the effect of what this rule does. So the main thing it does is it applies those blocks onto the schedule itself. So if I go to the club schedule now, I'm going to see those blocks there. If I scroll down here, there they are. And you'll see it has this language here, click to reserve, and it says available because it can be reserved. It's not filled up yet. And a user would really literally just click this block and say, hey, they're only going to get one screen on that reservation wizard now because everything else is already pre-filled in. And there's my reservation. Now in this case, I allow wait lists, so now I have this wait list only option. But you'll notice if I try to draw in a reservation here that overlaps that block, it's not allowing it, right? And even if I go here and I change my selection here to, say, 5:30 for an hour and 15 minutes, and I tell it, and I come in here and I try to submit this, I'm going to get a message. Your reservation must conform to the specified time slot set by your club. So you can see the effect of that rule. And so again, you may do this because it's easier for your members. To make reservations, they don't really have to go through and draw in and make all these selections all the way through. They can just literally click the block and bang, one button, boom, their reservation's going in. So you might do it for that way to make it a little easier for them. If you're trying to fit, more reservations onto the schedule, this kind of does that because you don't have to worry about people reserving odd hours and ending up making it difficult to get as many slots in on one night. So that's how that rule works. It's really pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about that rule or any other, please just give us a call. That number is 678-880 9042. Of course, you can always email me as well. That's greg@reservemycourt.com. Thanks so much.